Hello, teacher friends! Welcome to all of you, my new friends, and those who are not so much, to the Beyond Measure podcast. My name is Christina Whitlock, and my mission today is to help you feel like you have spent some quality time with a music teacher friend. Music teachers make the world a better place. You'll never convince me otherwise. They just do. So, therefore, it stands to reason that spending time together is bound to brighten your day, right? Let's just take a second and set the scene here first. So, in case you are not listening in real time, here in the United States, we are entering the week that we devote to the Thanksgiving holiday. So here in the US, that basically involves a lot of food, some football, and in typical years, a lot of people. Of course, we're currently living in this fated year of 2020, which for most of us means fewer people in our homes and around our tables. So personally, I'm trading in travel plans for my first ever attempt at making our own turkey, which actually I'm a little excited about. But I wanted you to know that wherever you find yourself in the world, in the true spirit of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to take today and consider how we are approaching gratitude this time of year. Now, let it be known that approaching everyday life with a spirit of thankfulness is like a really fundamental way that I try to navigate this world. So this is something I try to do all the time. But seeing as how we are still up to our eyeballs in pandemic life, I cannot help but notice that most of our attempts at gratitude right now are more like qualifiers. Statements like, well, I'm missing my family, but at least I have my fill in the blank. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want my spirit of Thanksgiving, figuratively or literally, to feel like it's some kind of consolation prize. And so, today, we're throwing out qualifiers and comparisons and all of those things, and I just want to take a few minutes and give genuine thanks for the creative thinkers and doers of this world. I want to give thanks not because I need to distract myself from the terrible things that are happening in the world, and not because I'm trying to pay some kind of penance for feeling grumpy feelings, but simply because I am so appreciative of living in a world where people make themselves vulnerable enough to put creative content out into the world. People who shape the world through entertainment and artistic output, whose work becomes so intertwined in our lives that we don't even stop to consider the fact that these were actually created in someone else's mind. Someone told me the other day that they were jealous of me because of the way that I could put myself out there. And I just had to laugh because creatives are not any less prone to that debilitating fear of criticism, self-doubt, or embarrassment. And actually, it's quite the opposite, right? What I do think we possess is something, and who knows what it is, but something that compels us to do our stuff anyway. And it's terrifying. And because it is so terrifying, it's all the more important that we look around our lives and take a moment to thank the creative people that have come across our path. I'll tell you, even doing something as trivial as this podcast, which I realize is a pretty low-risk endeavor, but every single note or comment or review gives me more life than you'll ever know. I don't think I could ever put into words how nerve-wracking of an experience this has been, even though the reception has been really great, which, again, I really thank you for. Think for a moment about the creative people who touch your own life. If they are successful in what they do, or actually, I should say, if you perceive them as successful in what they do, you might be tempted to think that your words of encouragement don't really matter. But my friends, they matter so much. I could never begin to make a comprehensive list of creative people who make the world go round, but I am going to try to name a few who have been on my heart while I've been reflecting on this topic. Of course, I will start with musicians. Musicians of every background, every genre, every medium. We all know that music roots itself deep inside the brain to a place where almost nothing can steal it. You know, music connects us to memories, to emotions. It has the power to give us energy, to calm us down, and everything in between. And those who make it or have anything to do with the process of making music deserve a huge debt of gratitude. Imagine yourself driving in the car on a beautiful day on a clear road. You're cruising on down, the windows are down, and the radio is on. I will bet that you can imagine the perfect song to be listening to. Am I right? Yours is probably different than mine. But that perfect moment in your mind was brought to you by countless musicians, teachers, recording engineers, talent scouts, record executives, and program directors, among lots of others, of course. And I just can't imagine a world without them. Likewise, research is showing that people are turning to TV and film to pass their time more than ever during this pandemic. Think for a moment about your favorite television series. Not only do you have actors and an enormous production staff to thank for that outlet, but you also have writers and developers, actual human beings who have devoted their days to developing these characters and settings who stir something inside of us. I don't know about you, but sometimes it's easy to forget that these people and places do not actually exist in real life, at least all the time. And that is because we have these talented writers and visionaries who choose, by the way, a less secure, quote unquote, career path in hopes of contributing something worthwhile to the world. Hallelujah. And chances are, if you are not so much into TV, you're probably into books. Though, of course, you can definitely be into both. So let's talk about authors for a minute. I absolutely believe that reading fiction makes you a more empathetic human being. Again, fiction writers bring us into these worlds, otherwise completely unbeknownst to us. And they have the potential to change the way that we see the world, more so than those jabbing Facebook posts that your friends make. Am I right? I am actually in a season where I find myself gravitating towards a lot more nonfiction. And I just have to say, those human beings who have a passion for research and then also somehow manage to find a way to make that research more mainstream are such a gift to me. So thank you to the Brené Browns of the world. Rats. I told myself I wasn't going to name anyone really specific because that would mean I would have to start naming a bunch of specifics and that would lead me way off topic. But anyway, I just have to say that if I were going to do anything in the world besides piano teaching, I think I would be chasing down Brené Brown's footsteps. If you're not familiar with her research about shame and vulnerability and the overall human experience, you got to get on that bandwagon. It's so great. But anyway, I digress. Can you tell that I could talk about creatives forever and ever? I am grateful for visual artists, painters, cartoonists, sculptors, architects, fashion designers who impact what we put on our bodies every day. That sketch artist who drew a caricature of my daughter when she was 6 and still hangs on her bedroom wall today. Oh my goodness. I thank my Lord for dancers and their choreographers. I am so intrigued as to what it must feel like to make your entire body into an artistic statement. No instruments, just you. I give mad props to anyone who is willing to move their bodies in front of anyone else, on purpose. My husband and my daughters, they get to see me bust a move sometimes, but they are the only ones. Seriously, I am grateful for those dance-related holiday traditions like the Nutcracker, which will definitely be missing this year, but nonetheless, I am grateful to have it to look forward to next year. Oh, and I almost forgot to talk about photographers. I mean, how thankful are we that we have photographers in this world who can capture our precious memories through family photographs, or even, those photographers and videographers that work for like National Geographic and can show us the most incredible examples of nature in worlds that we will never get to travel to. I am so grateful that I can have a better understanding of humanity and the environment because of these people. And beyond that, let's just consider for a second things that go beyond traditional arts endeavors. What about the creatives who influence and design new technology? This is kind of funny, but I was in undergrad when texting really became a thing. I couldn't understand at that time why anyone would want to pay 10 cents a message or whatever it was to type a message to someone, especially with how cumbersome it was to do so at that time. I will also never forget, also in undergrad, a friend showing up to my practice room and showing me her new cell phone that could connect to the internet. I distinctly remember thinking, why would you need the internet on your phone? I'm officially that old lady, by the way. But of course, for the record, I just didn't know what was coming in the world, but someone did. Someone knew that this was going to change the way we interact with the world around us. And then a bunch of someone else's jumped on that same bandwagon. And now here we are. We order our pizzas, buy our groceries, share memes over group texts, and, track down long lost classmates all on our cell phones. It's incredible. And we have creativity and the people who believe in its power to thank for that. So, yeah, you get it. Christina loves creative people. That's not a real big shocker, I suppose. But think about this for a minute. Who are the creatives who touch your life? Is it the local artist who painted the mural on the side of the building that you pass every day? The local shop who sells handmade soaps and lotions? The online business that you buy jewelry from every now and then? Who do you know who is writing something, working as an artist, publishing something, developing something? Well, I want you to think about them, name them, and I want you to find a way to tell them that you appreciate their work. Let's write them letters, make them phone calls, leave reviews, send a text, do what you can do to let them know that, hey, I've noticed your work, I like your work, I think it's great that you're doing that work. Any of those things are just food for the artist's soul, and you know it. And furthermore, when it's possible, why don't we actually try to support these artists with our actual money. Try, taking some time this week and getting a little lost on Etsy and order some handmade gifts instead of just running to the first mass distributor that comes to your mind. Or maybe as music teachers, let's spend some time supporting those composers that really reached out to us during this pandemic shift and supported us. Now's our turn to support them. If you're able, maybe you feel led to send a check to your local youth symphony or ballet program or any other arts organization. Maybe you can buy books from a local independent bookshop instead of worrying about getting them to your door in 2 days. Follow local artists that you support on your social media feeds, so that you keep them on your radar for ways that you can support them in the future. In short, just never doubt that you have an ability to help encourage other artists, and they need you. They really do. Phew. Can you tell that I had to step off my soapbox and cut myself off? Because otherwise I would go on and on all day. As we prepare to wrap up today, I would like to leave you with a little toast. So here I am, raising my glass to you. Cheers to you, creatives, and all current residents of the world. Today, we pay tribute to those whose thoughtful, innovative work impacts us on many levels every day. May we all proceed with greater diligence to notice the creative efforts of those around us. From the dad who spends his morning making turkey-shaped pancakes at breakfast this week, to the writer who is currently feeling really discouraged by those voices in her own head, we, the music teachers of the world, salute you. May we proceed in our own creative efforts ever more boldly, and may we make conscious efforts to support one another along the way. Cheers to you, my friends of the world. And that is it for episode number 8. With all my heart, friends, I believe that the artists of the world need our support now more than ever before. We know that this pandemic has hit everyone so hard. And by the way, there's no sense in trying to claim who's had it worse because it just doesn't matter. But the truth is that we know the creative world needs as much support as you can muster in whatever way you can offer it. So, for real, who can you drop a message of encouragement to this week? Make it a plan right now. What project can you offer a 5-star review for? Who needs to hear that you are excited for their next article or exhibit or show, or even just that you miss seeing their offerings live and in person? Ponder that, my friends. And while you're at it, focus on having a beautiful week filled with lots and lots of gratitude. And while we're on that topic, by the way, I just have to tell you, I am so thankful for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for encouraging me. And with that, I will just tell you, until we meet again, I want you to have a great day. Thanks so much, my friends.